In this video, we're going to look at the Moodle Book, and it's a unique way of delivering content that takes advantage of pages, but instead combines a number of pages into essentially an ebook. Well, as always, before you can add any type of activity or resource to your course, you have to go into editing mode. So we're going to turn editing on. And you'll notice up here the Moodle for Teachers course guide is actually a Moodle book. Whenever you see this green and black icon there, that's a Moodle book. So we're going to see how we can, well, let's actually first take a look at that and see what it's all about. Yeah, so all of you would have seen it by now. And as you can see, each of these pages is exactly like the HTML page that we conducted, that we created for the objectives. Only thing now, up in the right top and bottom corners are these navigation buttons. And if we use them, it will take us from one page to the next. So it's, you, as you can imagine, you make up the book exactly in the same manner as you would an HTML page. You just keep adding pages to it. And if you look over here on the menu bar, they have a table of contents that list the different pages in the book and allow you to actually link to the different pages. But since we're in the editing mode, you can also actually edit these pages and move them up and down, hide them, or whatever you want to do. So or delete them. So let's just take a look at how one of these things is made up. And as you can see, it looks exactly like how you would edit a HTML page. The only difference is that there's no description box because the description is going to be attached to the book as a whole rather than any of the individual pages within the book. Note also that you have this one button that's not there for the page, and this is you check this if you want to make this a subchapter. So let's see what would happen if I checked that. And I'm going to go and hit save. Now remember that previously that page was page 2. Now it's become page 1.1 because we've made it a subchapter of the welcome overall page. So I'm going to just go back into it and change that back. And now it's numbered as it was previously. So that's the basics of how a book works. Let's just look really quickly on how you set it up. We're not going to go into great detail on how you actually input information into it. We've looked at that when we've talked about pages. And in another video, we're going to look at integrating more rich content into it. So let's go back to the course. And we're going to actually add a new book, and a book is actually classified as a resource, so we're going to select it down here. Notice pages also, and this is what I was talking about. You see the description actually being required when you're first setting it up. We're going to call this book we're not going to have the description display on the course page. Common module, we'll just leave those, you know how to do that. Then you go to save and display, and it's going to take you to the first page. And subchapter is not available now because you can only have a subchapter if you have a chapter to begin with. So it can only be available after you first create that first chapter. And so this first chapter is going to be page 1, the beginning. Save that. And that's what our page 1 is going to look like. Now, Note that this button is now pointing up, and if you hover over it, you'll see that that upward pointing arrow means exit book. As is in the course guide, when the arrow is empty, it means you can't click on it. So you can't go back, you can only exit the book. Now, if you want to add another page, we just click on this plus button, and another page is going to be added right below the page that we're at now. So we're going to be adding page 2 now, and I'm going to call it the second page, and I'm not going to make it a subchapter because I want it to be entitled page 2. This is the second page of our book. Let's see how this one turns out. I'm going to center this stuff. Okay, just to see if it looks any differently. And so you can see that it's centered in the page here as well. Now, you see book page 1 and page 2 appearing in the book's table of contents. Also, the arrows allowing you to move up or down, delete, hide pages, or edit the page using the cogwheel. So that's just how you create a book. We're going to look at adding more rich content to book in future videos. And so when we click out of the book and go back to the course, you'll see that our newly created book has that green icon and can be opened just by clicking on it, just like any other resource. And I'm going to actually move this down to Unit 2 because that's where it's supposed to be properly. So there, and drop it in there. Good, so that's the book resource. I hope this helps.